Well, this is fun. We are bringing you some legit NFT history. What you're seeing on the screen is PixelMap.io, a loved project by many that have been around, and those that find out about it certainly are attracted to what's been created. Ken, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and let all of us in the NFT.NYC community know a bit about how you started PixelMap.io and where the project is at today.
So yeah, I'm Ken Erwin, creator of Pixel Map. It was launched in 2016. I was actually inspired by a site that a lot of people know about called the $1 Million Homepage that was made in 2004. And at the time in 2016, I was getting really involved with Ethereum and wanting to learn Solidity. And I thought it would be amazing to build something that was decentralized based off that same concept. So here what you're seeing is basically an Ethereum version of what the $1 Million Homepage was. And instead of like one central admin uploading the images and being able to control the map, all of these, like once one has been sold, there's nothing I can do. Like it's all stored on chain and controlled by the owner of each individual tile. One of the really cool things about it is all of the images themselves are actually stored on chain. So there was a time period from about 2017 through early 2021 where the site actually wasn't up because like no one that like I didn't even realize NFTs were a thing. And when I brought it back up, all of the images were still there because they're all stored on chain. So it was just really neat seeing kind of the benefits of that and being completely decentralized.
And then you were showing me how if somebody used to own a tile, it's still there on chain. Of course, all these have been sold out, even if they are an X tile. It just means somebody's put an image on them. So if somebody wants a tile, they can still get them on OpenSea, right? It's an active market of people, trading. And then if you enter a tile, there's fun things. I don't know if, let me show them this. I mean, there's so many fun things about PixelMap.io, but if you enter a tile, I think you just put test.
Yep, for now. It'll be MetaMask probably in a week or so.
And then why don't you kind of tell folks what this is that we're looking at?
So the short version is ignore a link that'll be replaced with a real sprite probably today, but it's a kind of an old school MMO feeling game where anyone that's on this, you can see each other playing. It's very peaceful. It's kind of like if you pictured Animal Crossing mixed with maybe like RuneScape or some other kind of old school game. There's like fishing on there. There's a little quest. We're adding to it constantly. I actually have a full-time dev, musician, artist, and me. So it's it doesn't really tie into the vintage part of PixelMap, but it's like a fun add-on just for people to kind of hang out and enjoy it more.
Being that you started this 6 years ago, you made decisions without really being able to survey the land. And so now so many things, even if let's just say our industry is in the third trimester of the womb, we're not even born yet. Let's just say that's the case. You were like in the spark of creation, right? In the very beginning. So give us an idea when you look at a project that you have the responsibility and stewardship over in the sense of you created it, you still are involved, even though people have become partners in NFT acquisition in a sense. And you think about what maybe you would do creatively today or how things have changed. What are some things that you kind of marinate on when you consider like all the new things that have come to market?
That is a phenomenal question. One thing that I think about all the time that I can't fix is PixelMap actually predated any of the ERC standards. And at the time, like no one was thinking about standards. And I wish I had been like, that would have been very cool to have created that back then because like I had the transfer mechanisms and everything that you would see in like the ERC 721 standard, but I never thought about other people wanting to use it. So just kind of being more active, like with forming what has become like the basis of NFTs now, I think would have been really neat. Another thing that I never thought about was the cost of gas. Like back then, if you're updating a tile, especially because it's stored on chain, it was a few pennies back then. I had one in 2021. People were paying $800 or more to update a tile. I was thankfully able to add really nice compression later on because it's stored in a string essentially. Yeah. But yeah, there was a brief period of time where people were paying like insane amounts. I have it down to about $30 now, but yeah, that was not a gas fees were not on my radar. Like launching the contract, I think was like $10. So
How about royalties? Because it's so early, I'm assuming you didn't have royalties set in place. And would you do anything with royalties had you known that was an option? And what do you think is a good approach when it comes to that type of effort in
that
this?
that is a phenomenal question. I did not have royalties baked into the contract. I do have a wrapper, so you can wrap it as a ERC 721. And if you're buying and trading it on OpenSea, because it's treated that way, I can set royalties. And then you can always unwrap it back to the original thing if you want. For me, when I think about creators, I think like the only way that you can assure like that you can definitely get royalties would be to hard code it into the contract. And at the same time, I hate the lack of flexibility that I don't like that. Like I really like the way that some of the marketplaces are doing where you're setting it dynamically.
Yeah.
The other part that's unique about having a wrapped token or a wrapped tile is like say that like if you look at the bus factor of like say I get squished on the highway, which would like I would be very against that. That's a bad outcome, but that happens and then like an evil person takes over the wrapper and the OpenSea listing and all of that. Someone could like the community could very easily choose to unwrap theirs and then
Mm,
rewrap it with a new wrapper and it would still have the original 2016 token. But they like what I'm saying is Pixelmap is then able to outlive me. Like
yeah.
it's not something where does that make sense? Like
Oh
if I
yeah.
had hard coded royalties to my specific wallet, then that's very limiting for the project itself. And it also makes it kind of centralized. And the whole point was to be fully decentralized.
Well, we're on board with that. I think everybody in this community wants things decentralized to the max of the current technical and community capabilities. I have one more question, then I'm going to share my screen again and have you talk about. I think it's 3669 or something of that nature. My last question for you is interoperability. People have been banging the interoperability drum. It's coming. So let's just fast forward 5 or 10 years, and there's true interoperability. What type of things do you think open up for Pixelmap.io and the community when that's really truly in place?
So that is a really good question, and that's something that I'm actually focused on all the time because so when I talk about like the historical NFT community, one of the things that I'm wanting to do with the game is basically bridge all of those communities. So like Mooncats, for example, come from the moon, like that's the lore of them. They're from 2017, and like I want to be able to have a section on the game where if you have a Mooncat, you can access like this moon area and hang like I guess the answer to your question is I've seen lots of things I never anticipated. Like I saw someone displaying a tile in a 3D metaverse, like on their wall. And that was so weird for me as a developer because I'm so used to everything like that you have to do yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and to see something where I didn't build it, but it's being shown in this like virtual reality room is just incredible. I
Absolutely.
think one thing that we will definitely need as a community overall is to get more standards around like if you're looking at gamification or things like that. Yes, you have the image of an NFT, but you don't have like a sprite sheet or like other things that you might need if you're actually using it within a game. And I think there will probably need to be standards like that, or like standards for wearables, for instance. Like
Yep.
um, maybe shoes have different thresholds on how fast you can run or something in that. Like
Right.
I, I can't think of what the standard should be, but I think that will be. We just need more standards for
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Well, we'll end the conversation we're having. For anybody watching this, thanks for your attention. We look forward to seeing you in New York, June 20th through the 23rd. Final thing is this. You were just telling me a funny story about how you find new discoveries in your own projects from time to time.
Yes, so that's the invisible tile. The TLDR of that is I couldn't count in 2016. So I actually thought that I had 3,969 tiles total. I actually have 3,970 because the for loop starts at 0, not 1. So that tile that you're seeing right there that's invisible that you can't even see on the map, I did not believe that it existed. I was told that Daryl Morey, the president of the 76ers, bought it. And I said that was impossible because that tile doesn't exist. And then I hovered over it and I realized that it does. So, and it was him. So it was a very, it was funny to realize I had a bug on my original contract and never had any idea.
It's classic. Well, for all of you that start projects, even little mistakes that you make, the NBA might end up getting involved and surprising you. Ken, thank you so much for jumping on with me. I found this to be a really fun and engaging conversation, and I think people will enjoy it as they get a chance to see what we talked about.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll see you in